Can one pro developer compete with 5 amateurs? Because that is the rough size of teams, I am competing in a game jam right now. These are students I've been teaching game development, and I can tell they are the future of Polish game dev, making multiple games during game jams, some of which even ended up on big Polish conferences. So when I want to compete with them, this will be a true battle, one of mentor against his pupils. Is experience king? Or maybe it's the number of developers that matters more. To test it out, we are going to compete in a 48 hours game jam. Usually making games takes up years, so this is a nice opportunity to try something out quickly. Game jams usually have themes, chosen when the game jam starts. However, in case of this game jam, it was a little different. You see, topics were voted on during the upcoming week, and then one of the top 5 was chosen randomly. Most people just wanted their favorite topic to succeed. And if not, tough luck. They would figure out the game idea once the game jam starts. But since I was working alone, I didn't want to waste even half an hour for designing my game after the opening stream. I was full on competitive mode. I wanted to prove how much I can manage to do in as short amount of time as possible. So, when the last day rolled around, I pulled my first ace from my sleeve and created 5 distinct game ideas to be implemented, no matter what the topic is chosen. I was ready to make an RPG dungeon crawler, a gladiator manager simulator, a vampire survivors like, and even a swashbuckler rhythm game. Yeah, I was prepared for everything. So when the final topic was being chosen, I knew I already had the upper hand. And it turned out to be true, because my favorite topic out of the 5 was chosen. As above, so below. A sentence you may have heard before if you know Amnesia games. But in case of the game jam, it could also mean something being above of something literally, or a dichotomy like heaven and hell. And I certainly wasn't going for some deep symbolism, not in 48 hours. Instead, I wanted to do something more on the nose. You see, recently I've been obsessed with Hobbit, so I instantly thought of a chance of creating my own Erebor, my own lonely mountain. Above, the king is toiling with war and political decisions. Below, dwarven miners work tirelessly to provide the kingdom with riches necessary for its sustenance. As above, so below. A little cheesy maybe, but I wanted to go with that. And I knew I didn't have much time. 48 hours is very little time, especially for a single person to do it. And I needed to create a lot. Procedural cave systems and dwarves mining said cave system, navigating it, while you as a player are only clicking a few buttons, choosing a job site here and there. It was an ambitious project, but I had to prove my worth to my students. I had to do my best. So I started below and employed the most dwarven shape there is, the fat bean. These were my dwarves at the beginning, but before they could get reshaped, they had to learn to mine. The basics of the system would be you choose a dig site, then the dwarves go there and mine whatever you desire them to mine. However, they need to know if they can reach the place you want them to mine, and also you should be able to see if they can do it or not. And then came the cave itself. I knew it will be the thing that is most visible on the screen at all times. So I really tried making it look good. From color palette to special connector tiles to the generation itself, it had to feel and look amazing. And even with the beans for dwarfs, you can already have some fun here, I think. It instantly created this satisfaction reward in my brain. I just felt good seeing them mine, and this was a great first step. This actually took a lot of time though, and the first day was quickly running to an end. And I had a lot more to do this day. So, without any further ado, I created the mountain. Yeah, not so grand and magnificent right now, but it will have to do because there are more important tasks at hand. Most importantly, the builder dwarfs. This is another type of dwarf in my game. They build either blocks or ladders and allow other dwarfs to traverse through them. I am afraid that I don't have footage of adding ladders though, so you must do with regular blocks, which you can also build with builders. That said, first day was over. The above was a small morale booster, but that's it. I had core systems implemented, but I knew I had to do a lot of visuals, mechanics and UI the next day. I was a little underwhelmed with my progress at this point, so I tried to sleep, which is difficult during game jams, and in the morning I did the most important thing. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I am stupid sometimes, and despite being a pro and releasing my own game, I still make stupid decisions. In that case, I spent like an hour painting a beautiful mountain. It didn't bring me closer to finishing the game, although it made it more grandiose, I guess. And I was telling myself that in the morning of the second day. I just sometimes cannot help myself but make the stuff that is beautiful and that I want to make, no matter what really needs doing. I had like 9 hours till the end of the jam and there was a lot to be done. So first I created UI. Different buttons to swap between mining modes and building modes, buttons to buy new dwarfs of different kinds, and a bank, which tracks which resources you mined and how many. That allowed the whole economy to be built. So when you mine iron, you are getting iron and then you can recruit new dwarfs with said iron. However, the game was still lacking purpose. You were just mining for the sake of mining, however there was no agenda, no meaning to your mining. And here comes the quests from the king above. So I created this quest system, and quests basically provide me with this many resources in that time plus some lore. Like a feast is being organized, we need some silver for the cutlery, right? And this actually made the game. Without it, it was a sandbox. With it, now there is gameplay. There is this task which draws you forward, you need to fulfill it in a set amount of time or you will fail. And that means the player is engaged. There is a challenge to overcome and we have a game from what previously was a set of blocks. I knew everything was starting to work together. Unfortunately, the time was really running out now and I didn't have the time to really test the quests in terms of their timings and fun because I had like 2 hours left and my dwarfs were still looking like fat beans. So I had to focus on that next. And I am so proud of what I've done in an hour. Basically in an hour I created all of the animations for the dwarfs. I wanted to go a little goofy. The idle animation is crazy. They are bobbing their head up and down and the helmet jumps up when they are hitting the blocks. And that was it. I finished 5 minutes till the deadline. And whew, this was a really hardcore marathon. And I was exhausted, like 48 hours of constant development, and I was pushing myself really hard. I barely slept, I've barely eaten, and now it was done. I could chill, relax, knowing that I've made a game which is quite complex. You getting quests to mine different resources, which you then fulfill by managing your dwarfs, telling them what to mine and where to build ladders, and fighting this constant urge to do it faster, because the king is ever so tired of your incompetence. I didn't manage to do music and sounds because I ran out of time. If I had like few more hours, then this would be in the game. So I overshoot on that one. But overall, I was really proud of myself. The game looked and felt really nice. Knowing that all, I could finally relax. But even more importantly, I could finally see what my students have been cooking up for this 48 hours. Were their games better, worse, more or less polished, more or less ambitious? I was really curious to find out. Okay, this is freezing hot. That was a lot. Right. There's a lot of UI to figure out. But I can see that, so the weather is changing from really cold to really hot. And I have this thermometer which tracks how hot it is for my character. I have 2 kinds of ammo to shoot the fire creatures and the ice creatures separately. And I have HP which gets lowered if it's too cold or too hot for me. So I have to stand near these crystals and basically cycle between them, I guess, during different parts of the day, right? Okay, so I got that. So what do I have to do besides like survival? Current objective, find fire key, find ice key. Oh, I got it. Totally by accident. But that's okay. So my character is super hot now. I have to stand here. Ah! Aww. So now we got a game as above, so below. Right, and we have this person here. Oh, we got a comic front. So a drinking angel, quota missed, and our halo is taken away. Am I seeing that right? All right, let's see. What is going on here? This is so trippy. So it's like a bullet hell, maybe? And wait. Oh, I can throw knives, wait. The character is turning really slowly. So I have to kill those demons to get to my quota from the comic book, I think. I have 11 kills, and the bar on the left, can you see that? Is getting filled up. So probably... Oh. Probably I have to beat enough of them. The visuals, like the floor is really trippy, and it's moving at different speed than the buildings on the side. Can you see that? That's so weird. This could be good for like a horror game. I'm not sure for this. Oh, damn. And yeah, on top of that, the character model, like we've seen in Menu, was really nice. But here we can only see like the top of her head. This is very sad. Also, I'm only shooting the direction I'm running, so it's difficult. Yeah, to just... Right, just stop and run for a sec. Alright, one more try. Now for Skeletro. So I've been sitting here listening to this kind of banger of a music for some time and couldn't figure out the rules. However, I get it now, so I will spare you the trouble. This game is like blackjack with extra steps. Basically, you have to take... This guy draws 2 cards, and you can barely see this is a 3 and this is an 11. Total of 14. I have to choose my white cards so that they are above 14, and my black cards so that they are below. And they should be below the same amount. So for example, I can do 12, 13, so it's -1. And here I can do 14. So this should be 15. What's here? 9. I cannot deal with the fact that I cannot see these numbers. This is 12, 7, something. So let's see. I got 13 here, so let's try to do... As you can see, I can re-roll cards. So I got 15 and 0. So 15 on white, 13 on black, 14 is the target. Check. Perfect balance. Yes. Win. So this is 20 now. I can do 16 plus 6. That's 6 1 2. And I can do 21 plus 6 23 equals 3 low. So 16 plus 18 and perfect again. So this is quite a nice mechanic, but there's no like goal. I can just play these hands for however long I want. As above, so below, or rather aces above, SO below. Oh shit, oh, wait. seizure warning. This is... Oh my god, my eyes sort of hurt. This camera is crazy. So basically I can only fly forward towards my cursor. However, the thing is that my camera does this. So my crosshair is always somewhat in the middle. This game is hard to get into. And like, I don't know, maybe it has high skill ceiling and then it's satisfying, but for beginners, this is... So let's see, I have HP in the top left corner, and I think that it regenerates when I'm not shooting. So let's kill the last guy. There you are. And this should be wave 2 now. Whoa. Yeah, this is really hard. Right, I'm not sure if I can actually beat that. And also there's 5 waves. Even if I beat the second wave, this will be still very, very hard. Also, I'm getting a little dizzy because of the camera, so... There were 2 more games, but unfortunately they weren't finished until the deadline, which is a shame. That said, I think the ideas were really creative. Every one of them had something interesting. I could see the great potential even if it was rough around the edges. But it was not my call to decide. I could finally go to sleep, and it would all come out to the community vote. But no matter the results, no matter if I win or lose this one, I knew I made a good job, and I've proven myself as a great developer, at least in my own eyes. Something I wasn't sure of for the longest time, feeling sort of an imposter syndrome. Even after releasing my own game on Steam, I had this nagging feeling that I am not enough. But funnily enough, these 2 days working on the Dwarves game made me feel really great about myself. So yeah, no matter what happens, it was a great run. But I won't tease you any longer. You want to know who won. And it was me. I won overall best game category. But that's not all. I also won best gameplay, best visuals, and best theme. The only category I lost was audio. And yeah, to be expected, I had no audio in the game. But other than that, I basically swept. I think everyone was shocked. I was shocked and my students were shocked. And I'm really glad that the game turned out great. However, I am also super pleased with what my students had done. The ideas are first and foremost creative, even if still rough around the edges. That said, it was a great competition. And as it comes, I loved the Dwarves game so much that I worked on it more and more and more, and it's a new game coming up on Steam. Don't worry, my other project, which is a game about breaking a cube, I'm working on that too. I just had to put 2 more weeks of development into Dwarves and add some more stuff. If you're interested in such a game, wishlist it on Steam. I have just created a page for it. It would mean a lot to me if you wishlisted the game. It will cost like $1 or $2, so it will be a very cheap experience. And if you want to see some of the changes that I am preparing to make before the full release, subscribe to see my next video